Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, The Efficacy of High CBD, Low THC for Better Outcomes in Medical Marijuana Treatment Programs. It is presented by Ruth Bertrand, LPN, a member of the American Cannabis Nurses Association, ACNA, a member of Delaware NORMYL and the Delaware Cannabis Advocacy Network, and a medical marijuana patient advocate and consultant. My name is Judy O'Rourke, and I'll be your moderator for today's event. We're delighted to bring you this educational web seminar presented by LabRoots. LabRoots is the leading scientific social networking website and producer of educational virtual events and webinars. Before we begin, I would like to remind everyone this event is interactive. We encourage you to participate by submitting as many questions as you want during the presentation. Simply click on the Ask a Question box located on the far left of your screen and type your questions into the drop-down box. Our speaker will respond to your questions via email following the presentation. If you have trouble seeing or hearing the presentation, please click on the Ask a Question box to let us know that you're experiencing a problem. This presentation is educational and thus offers continuing education credits. Please click on the Continuing Education Credits tab located in the top right corner of the presentation window and follow the process to obtain your credits. And now, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Ruth Bertrand. I will now turn the presentation over to her.
Hello, and thank you for attending my webinar on the efficacy of high CBD, low THC for better patient outcomes in medical marijuana treatment programs. At the end of this presentation, there is a YouTube video for you to watch on CBD THC. Just click on the far left of your screen. Today's learning objectives are understanding CBD-THC ratios in medical marijuana and using high CBD, low THC cannabis products to treat disease processes. There are at least 113 cannabinoids, and this webinar is going to address 2 of them that work together to provide our bodies with synergy. That's high CBD, low THC strains of marijuana and how they help patients who use them. CBD and THC interact with each other, and by using them together, patients may find that the effects of THC are lessened but prolonged. There are many patients who just cannot tolerate the effects of THC, while there are many others who smoke THC in order to relax. Another factor to consider is the way in which marijuana is consumed, such as smoking, tinctures, edibles, and topicals. Cannabinoids are better absorbed by the body when ingested on a full stomach. CBD is intrinsically safe, and there is no way to tell if you have had enough, as with THC, you would just be too high. Combining CBD and THC causes a reduction in the psychoactive effects of THC. CBD will also help to lessen the sedative and appetite-inducing effects. This is known as the entourage effect, where both compounds work best when they're used together. These 2 molecules are a perfect complement to each other. In January of this year, the medical value of cannabis was recognized by the World Health Organization. The therapeutic potentials of cannabis and cannabinoids has been acknowledged for the first time since 1954 by this group. They have proposed new international scheduling, moving towards efforts to increase the potential for countries to provide legal, safe access for medical use of cannabis and its research. The organization accepted the public's comments on the scheduling of marijuana until March 14th of this year. I, of course, posted my thoughts on the website and implored them to seriously consider removing marijuana as a Schedule I drug. Cannabidiol, or CBD, is a component of the cannabis plant that may have enormous therapeutic potential, although it doesn't make people feel high like THC. CBD is causing quite a buzz among scientists, health professionals, and medical marijuana patients who are using CBD products to treat a wide variety of conditions, including chronic pain, cancer, Crohn's, diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, PTSD, cardiovascular disease, anxiety, and antibiotic-resistant infections, multiple sclerosis, schizophrenia, and more. Academic research centers around the world are currently studying effects of CBD on these and other ailments. Scientists refer to CBD as a promiscuous compound because it confers therapeutic benefits in many different ways while tapping into how we function physiologically and biologically on a deep level. Extensive preclinical research and some clinical studies have shown that CBD have strong antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anticonvulsant, antidepressant, antipsychotic, antitumoral, and neuroprotective qualities. Cannabidiol appears to change gene expression and may be helpful in removing beta amyloid plaque, which is the hallmark of Alzheimer's from brain cells. What is THC? CBD and THC are the power couple of cannabis therapeutics. They appear to work best together. For example, CBD is believed to boost THC's pain-killing and anti-cancer properties. CBD can also lessen the side effects of too much THC, including anxiety and rapid heartbeat. Relaxing but not intoxicating is how some people describe CBD-rich cannabis products. CBD and THC both appear to stimulate neurogenesis, the creation of new brain cells in adult mammals, which may prove helpful for stroke and Parkinson's patients. Products made from industrial hemp that contain little or no THC are currently being marketed widely, but recent scientific studies suggest that the products made from hemp or synthetic CBD may be less effective therapeutically than cannabis-based medicines because they lack critically secondary cannabinoids and other medicinal compounds that interact with CBD and THC to enhance their therapeutic benefits. Scientists call this the entourage effect. Numerous cannabis compounds have medicinal attributes, but the therapeutic impact of the whole plant cannabis seems to be greater than the sum of its parts. It still seems that patients are looking for, the most part, the high THC, low CBD products, but I feel as a nurse that they would be better suited to choose the high CBD, low THC products for medicinal purposes. It just seems like the high CBD has more benefits for most medical patients. CBD binds with CBD receptors in the body and helps to regulate appetite, pain management, and immune system functions such as inflammation. Harlequin, Sweet and Sour Widow, Stephen Hawking Kush, ACDC, Canatonic, and Pennywise are some of the most popular and common strains of high CBD flower. It is not so much that CBD makes you feel good, but that it makes you not feel bad. And since it's a cannabinoid coming from a cannabis plant, it is often confused with THC, which is a psychoactive compound, and people expect to feel high from it. It's imperative that we educate patients as well as the public to the fact that being high, as they say, on cannabis cannot be compared to being intoxicated on alcohol or to the ill effects of most pharmaceuticals such as opiates, benzodiazepines, antipsychotics, and antidepressants. With a CBD high, you won't feel sedated or groggy. For most people, it takes about 20 minutes to feel the effects of CBD when taken on an empty stomach. If taken on a full stomach, it's about an hour. There are many studies that find inflammation as the main contributing factor in problems of the brain, such as anxiety, brain fog, depression, autism, ADD, and ADHD. CBD oil is proving to be an effective treatment for social anxiety and is naturally calming. Side effects from cannabis are dose-dependent. High CBD, low THC therapy should always start with low doses, increasing slowly so that the patient can find their individual dose and unwanted effects can be avoided. CBD also interacts with THC. By taking CBD and THC together, individuals may find that the effects of THC are tempered but prolonged slightly. Some people can hardly tolerate any THC. The wide range of reaction to THC-rich cannabis may be influenced by genetic factors. That may be one of the reasons why some people find THC-rich cannabis to be unpleasant while hundreds of millions smoke it to relax. This genetic variant exists among 20% of people in the European and Middle Eastern population of Caucasians, meaning 1 in 5 are THC averse. Less than 10% of Africans have this genetic variant, and among Asians, it's less than 5%. How does CBD benefit the human body? CBD shows promise for helping to subdue the symptoms of anxiety, which most of us, about 30%, suffer from. It produces effects via molecular pathways. CBD enhances activation of serotonin to impede disorders such as anxiety. It has been found to be a natural anxiety calmer and works very well in the treatment of social anxiety. In addition to fighting inflammation in the body, CBD oil may reduce anxiety by directly affecting the brain. Studies have found that CBD actually lowers activity in the amygdala and increases prefrontal cortex activation, 2 parts of the brain involved in anxiety. There is also evidence that CBD is able to activate new neurons in the hippocampus. This activates CBD1 receptors, which has a positive balancing impact on GABA and glutamate levels associated with reducing anxiety. Doctors often advise people with chronic anxiety to avoid cannabis, as THC can trigger or amplify feelings of anxiousness and paranoia, which is true, I think, for a lot of people. That paranoia is definitely a side effect of a high THC product. However, authors of a review from Neurotherapeutics found that CBD may help to reduce anxiety in people with certain related disorders. According to the review, CBD may reduce anxiety-related behaviors in people with conditions such as PTSD, general anxiety disorder, panic disorder, social anxiety disorder, and obsessive-compulsive disorder. The authors noted that current treatments for these disorders can lead to additional symptoms and side effects, which can cause some people to stop taking them. No further definitive evidence currently links CBD to adverse effects, and the authors called for further studies of the compound as a treatment for anxiety. Anxiety and depression are pathologies that affect human beings in many aspects of life, including social life, productivity, and health. CBD is a compound of the cannabis plant with great psychiatric potential, including use as an antidepressant. Studies involving animal models performing a variety of experiments on the above-mentioned disorders, such as the forced swimming test, the elevated plus maze, and the Vogel conflict test, suggest that CBD exhibited an anti-anxiety and antidepressant effect in the animal models discussed. Experiments with CBD demonstrated non-activation of neuroreceptors CB1 and CB2. PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder, is a psychological ailment that is beginning to gain the attention of CBD research. PTSD exhibits in individuals who have experienced trauma and or abuse in their lifetime. The disorder is most noteworthy in military veterans and accident survivors. CBD has proven beneficial in relation to PTSD, as it reportedly helps curb manifestations of both depression and anxiety without the debilitating side effects of pharmaceutical medications. CBD's effectiveness concerning PTSD is evident in the fact that states like Arizona are now recognizing PTSD as an ailment that warrants legal access to medical marijuana. CBD has the ability to lower cortisol levels that slow down muscle growth. The reason bodybuilders need to work regularly to maintain continued growing their form is because our bodies do not grow muscles naturally. In fact, our endocrine system produces catabolic hormones such as cortisol, which break down muscle mass in order to use the amino acids for other functions. To counter this dilemma, someone who wishes to build muscle would have to take catabolic supplements, and this is where CBD comes into play. Studies show that cannabidiol can lower the number of catabolic hormones in the human body, meaning that muscle gain won't be lost so quickly. And it makes it easier to gain muscle mass quicker. Keep in mind that CBD should not be taken with caffeine, at least not for this purpose. Caffeine promotes the production of catabolic hormones, so it would only counter the effects of CBD. Many medical patients tell us that marijuana helps their pain. Neuropathic pain, also known as nerve pain, is a unique type of pain that is caused by injured, dysfunctional, or irritated nerves. The pain tends to be chronic and severe with no known cure or remedy. The individual is left to try numerous strategies to try to find something that works. Some of the most common sources of neuropathy include diabetes, injury, cancer, infections, alcoholism, and autoimmune disorders. While there have been human clinical trials that support benefits of THC and CBD for nerve pain, there have been fewer studies examining just CBD. In an animal study, researchers found that oral supplementation of CBD led to improvements in neuropathic pain in rats. Back pain is one of the most common forms of both acute and chronic pain. Acute back pain tends to be caused by an injury, such as a fall or by lifting something heavy. Chronic back pain is that which lasts more than 3 months and is often caused by a ruptured or bulging disc, arthritis, osteoporosis, scoliosis, or nerve pain. Some back pain is partly caused by inflammation, and numerous preclinical animal studies have found benefits of CBD for inflammation. Through possible reduction in both nerve and inflammatory pain, CBD may help relieve back pain. The main mechanism by which CBD is thought to help mediate pain is by reducing inflammation, largely by blocking inflammatory mediators. It is also believed to potentiate glycine receptors, which help to regulate pain at the spinal level. This suppresses both neuropathic and inflammatory pain. CBD has been found to exhibit enhancements in treating pain both when used on its own and when used in combination with THC. When used alone, CBD is largely best for inflammatory pain, such as that caused by arthritis or injuries. In one animal study on arthritis pain, it was found that the topical application of CBD led to a reduction in inflammation and pain. Another animal study found that CBD helps to reduce neuropathic pain through the suppression of chronic inflammation. CBD does not directly bind to the receptors found in the endocannabinoid system, but rather works to modulate the effects of endocannabinoids found naturally in our bodies, as well as working as a CB1 antagonist. When searching for the best cannabis strains for pain relief, you will first want to consider how much THC and CBD is found in the strain. Generally, you will find most relief from a strain that has large quantities of both CBD and THC with a high CBD-THC ratio. This is because CBD can help to mediate the side effects of THC while also providing additional anti-inflammatory and analgesic properties. Some researchers have found that CBD may prove to combat cancer. Authors of a review published in the British Journal of Clinical Pharmacology found evidence that CBD significantly helped to prevent the spread of cancer. The researchers also noted that the compound tends to suppress the growth of cancer cells and promote their destruction. They pointed out that CBD has low levels of toxicity, and they called for further research in its potential as an accompaniment to standard cancer treatments. Type 1 diabetes results from inflammation that occurs when the immune system attacks cells in the pancreas. Research published in 2016 found that CBD may ease this inflammation in the pancreas. This may be the first step in finding a CBD-based treatment for type 1 diabetes. A paper presented the same year in Lisbon, Portugal, suggests that CBD may reduce inflammation and protect against the delay or development of type 1 diabetes. Initial research published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found CBD was able to prevent the development of social recognition deficit in its participants. This means that CBD could help people in the early stages of Alzheimer's keep the ability to recognize the faces of the people that they know. This is the first evidence that CBD may slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease. Across the board, it would appear as though CBD is a natural wakefulness-promoting compound. Because of this, it seems smart to recommend to take your CBD supplement or full-spectrum hemp extract supplement in the morning so as to keep you alert all day and not to interfere with falling asleep. Interesting enough, when subjects do this, it appears that not only do they stay alert and awake throughout the day, but they also fall asleep at night more quickly without any additional sleep aid and stay asleep longer. This would appear to be because CBD is known to modulate the microglia activation of the inflammatory cycle, keeping your body in a less inflamed state and lowering your stress. In a review of studies done on chronic pain patients, the reviewer found adequate evidence to correlate CBD oil consumption with improving multiple sleep biomarkers, including sleep onset, which is basically how quickly someone falls asleep. The study also saw a repeating incidence of lower dream recall in CBD subjects, which is very interesting. It's difficult to point to a mechanism here since very little is known about the nature of dreams in the field of neuroscience. However, this does point to the idea that dream recall may be regulated by the endocannabinoid system. To some degree, the same study also saw a decrease in insomnia symptoms among subjects. It appears as though CBD is positively correlated with improving sleep patterns, but funny enough, not actually by making you sleepy, as it is a wakefulness-promoting agent and not a sedative like THC. In fact, it appears to promote sleep improvement due to the fact that it can lower stress levels as a powerful antioxidant, where its benefits controlling free radicals and induced inflammation are well documented. This is great news as you can consume your CBD supplements in the morning to keep you stress-free and relaxed but focused throughout the day, and then you may fall asleep more quickly and stay asleep longer throughout the night. Using high CB, low THC to help quitting smoking. Some promising evidence suggests that CBD may help people quit smoking cigarettes. A pilot study published in Addictive Behaviors found that smokers who used inhalers containing CBD smoked fewer cigarettes than usual and had no further cravings for nicotine. A similar review published in Neurotherapeutics found that CBD may be a promising treatment for people with opioid addiction disorders. The researchers noted that CBD reduced some symptoms associated with substance use disorders. These included anxiety-related symptoms, pain, and insomnia. More research is necessary, but these findings suggest that CBD may help to prevent or even reduce withdrawal symptoms. Children with autism spectrum disorder see a significant improvement in symptoms and less reliance on other medications after treatment with Ticum Olum's Evadical medical cannabis, as confirmed by a new study published in Scientific Reports. The 2-year study followed 188 children with an average age of 13 diagnosed with ASD. The patients were treated with Ticum Olum's high CBD, low THC medical cannabis strains, which have been specifically cultivated and shown to provide symptom relief for ASD and related conditions with minimal psychoactive effect. At the study's outset, the most common patient symptoms were restlessness, rage attacks, and agitation. After 6 months of daily cannabis treatment at Ticum Olum's clinics in Israel, 80.1% of the patients reported improvement of their symptoms, with 30.1% reporting significant improvements. Other key findings included, of the 27 patients who had epilepsy, 24 reported improved or disappearance of symptoms. 34.4% of patients decreased other medications, and 20% of patients stopped using antipsychotic medication. Autism is a leading condition of concern worldwide, so this study couldn't have come at a better time, says Dr. Annabelle Manola, PhD, who is Ticum Olum's scientific director. This data showed that autism patients can improve their overall quality of life utilizing a high CBD, low THC strain, and most importantly, that young users can safely and effectively benefit from medical cannabis. With the study, cannabis is shown to be an effective choice for parents looking for the safest and most neuroprotective treatment. The side effects to cannabis treatment were minimal. The FDA recently approved Epilodex as a medication for children with refractory seizure disorders, and the DEA classified Epilodex as a Schedule 5 substance on September of 2018. Epilodex would surely command a lot of off-label attention if not for the potent price tag. And just as surely, a huge unregulated market for hemp-derived CBD isolate will continue to flourish in a tenuous legal environment. An already massive consumer demand for CB products has far outpaced the gathering of clinical data on cannabinoid interactions with pharmaceuticals for pain, cancer, autism, heart disease, and many other chronic ailments. Concerning the product that the FDA approved to treat 2 types of epilepsy, researchers noticed the following adverse effects in clinical trials: liver problems, symptoms related to central nervous system, such as irritability and lethargy, reduced appetite, gastrointestinal problems, infections, rashes, and other sensitivity reactions, reduced urination, and breathing problems. The patient information leaflet notes that there is a risk of worsening depression or suicidal thoughts. It is important to monitor anyone who is using this drug for signs of mood changes. Research suggests that a person taking the product is unlikely to form a dependency. The long-standing barrier to research is the Schedule I status of cannabis, a category reserved for dangerous substances with no medical value according to federal law. But the paucity of federally sanctioned clinical research, a consequence of cannabis prohibition, should not be an excuse for physicians or patients to shun non-lethal cannabinoid therapies, which show promise for a wide range of conditions. When drugs do not have FDA approval, it can be difficult to know whether a product contains a safe or effective level of CBD. Unapproved products may not have the properties or content stated on the package. It is important to note that researchers have linked marijuana use during pregnancy to impairments in the fetal development of neurons. Regular use among teens is also associated with concerning memory, behavior, and intelligence. CBD is just one of the many cannabinoids found in marijuana, and it is not psychoactive. Smoking cannabis is not the same as using CBD oil, and using CBD oil is not the same as smoking cannabis. A person can use CBD oil in different ways to relieve various symptoms if a doctor prescribes it. It's important to follow their instructions. CBD products come in many forms. Some can be mixed into different foods or drinks and taken with a pipette or dropper. Others are available in capsules or as a thick paste to be massaged into the skin. Some products are available as sprays to be administered under the tongue. Recommended dosages vary between individuals and depend on factors such as body weight, the concentration of the products, and the health issue. The studies done on CBD oil have a pretty wide dose range, anywhere from a few milligrams to hundreds of milligrams. It's suggested to start at the lower end around 10 milligrams and slowly increase over a few weeks or months to see what works for you. Some people also do well with splitting the dosage throughout the day instead of taking the dose all at once. It is always a good idea to talk with your prescribing doctor if you are on any medications. CBD is generally very safe, but there are some pharmaceutical medications it could potentially interact with and increase or decrease the pharmaceutical drug's effectiveness. Some CBD manufacturers have come under government scrutiny for wild and defensible claims such as that CBD is a cure-all for cancer. We need more research, but CBD may prove to be an option for managing anxiety, insomnia, and chronic pain. Without sufficient high-quality evidence in human studies, we can't pinpoint effective doses, and because CBD is currently mostly available as an unregulated supplement, it's difficult to know exactly what you are getting. If you decide to try CBD, check with your doctor if for no other reason than to make sure it won't affect other medications that you're taking. Using CBD THC compounds in concert has been shown to help mitigate side effects and enhance efficacy, with CBD plus THC showing more benefit for some conditions than THC alone. Studies have confirmed that CBD helps to counteract some of the sedative high feeling, anxiety, and rapid heartbeat that's associated with THC consumption. It also has been found to extend the half-life of the THC, which may help to extend the pain-relieving benefits. This has allowed the use of higher doses of THC in clinical trials for the treatment of pain caused by multiple sclerosis, peripheral neuropathy, intractable cancer pain, and rheumatoid arthritis. When used in concert, a greater efficacy in treating these types of pain has been observed. You may be wondering, what is the ideal balance or ratio of CBD and THC? Every strain of bud that you purchase at a dispensary will be labeled with its THC and CBD content. And that's helpful when choosing a strain for pain relief. Thus far, based on the observations regarding the widespread use of cannabis flower and full-spectrum cannabis oil, it does not appear that there have been many problems because of cannabinoid drug reactions. To the extent that there have been problematic drug interactions with cannabinoids, these have involved high doses of CBD isolates, not cannabis in general. Even though THC is an intoxicant and CBD is not, the fact that people tend to use much higher doses of pure CBD makes it much riskier player in the metabolic drug interactions. 10 milligrams of THC in a cannabis product is a hefty dose for a naive patient and sufficiently psychoactive for the occasional recreational user. 10 milligrams of THC combined with equal amounts of CBD in a Sativex tincture hits the analgesic sweet spot in clinical trials. There are moderate doses compared to the amount of single molecule CBD administered to epileptic children in clinical trials, up to 50 milligrams per kilogram, with CBD doses as high as 2,000 milligrams, not uncommon among patients who obtain CBD isolates from internet storefronts and other unregulated sources. THC has its own built-in guardrails. Consume too much and you'll know you've hit your limit. With CBD, there are no guardrails, no dysphoric feedback loop that says you've had enough. CBD is intrinsically safe, but when extracted from the plant and concentrated as an isolate, high doses are necessary for therapeutic efficacy. Unlike whole plant CBD, rich extracts, which have a broader therapeutic window and are effective at lower doses than single molecule CBD. Drug interactions are much more likely with high-dose CBD therapy than other forms of cannabis consumption. Physicians and patients should be concerned about this given the current regulatory regime, which privileges CBD isolates over artisanal plant-derived multi-component formulations. The legality. CBD is a cannabinoid derived from the cannabis plant. Cannabis is legal for either medicinal or recreational use in some American states. Other states have approved the use of CBD oil as a hemp product, but not the general use of medical marijuana. Some state and federal laws differ, and current marijuana and CBD legislation in the United States can be confusing, even in states where marijuana is legal. There is an ever-changing number of states that do not necessarily consider marijuana to be legal, but have laws directly related to CBD oil. The following information is accurate as of May 2018, but the laws change frequently. However, state legislators usually approve the use of CBD oil at various concentrations to treat a range of epileptic conditions. A full list of states that have CBD-specific laws is available. Different states also require different levels of prescriptions to possess and use CBD oil. In Missouri, for example, a person can use CBD of a particular composition if they can show that 3 other treatment options have failed to treat their epilepsy. They can provide information about safe CBD sources and local laws surrounding uses. Anyone considering CBD oil should speak with a local healthcare provider. Also research your local state laws. Most states require a prescription. My own state of Delaware has a medical marijuana program that currently has close to 7,000 patients. Thank you so much for watching my webinar on high CBD, low THC product efficacy for better patient outcomes in medical marijuana programs. I'm Ruth Bertrand from Wyoming, Delaware. I have worked as a nurse for the past 13 years where I come face to face with various disease processes daily. I'm a member of the American Cannabis Nurses Association, Delaware NORMYL, and the Delaware Cannabis Advocacy Network. I have been an advocate for marijuana since 1975, and I've lobbied at state and national levels for the past couple of years. We hope to legalize recreational cannabis here in Delaware this year. The legislators in my state decide the fate of marijuana, so the only way to make change is to speak to them personally. 61% of Delawareans support legalization of recreational cannabis. I am by no means an expert on this topic, but I recently worked in one of the medical marijuana dispensaries here in Delaware, and I know of the pain and suffering the patients endure for years before they finally get their doctor to agree that marijuana could help. It's my hope that patients everywhere are able to utilize marijuana as a first line of defense in their medical treatment instead of it being a last resort. I'd like to give a shout out to Jay and Riley Madler of Riley Sunshine and thank them for all the hard work and dedication in their continued support of pediatric medical cannabis worldwide. I'd also like to thank Delaware NORMYL and the Delaware Cannabis Advocacy Network for their continued work towards legalization. I'm going to close with a video done by a friend of mine, Tommy Lyons. He is a veteran who lives in Maryland, and he's a medical marijuana patient. Thank you for watching.
Hey everybody, my name is Tommy Lyons and I'm a good friend of Ruth. Wanted to come on here today and talk to you about why I use CBD products from the cannabis plant specifically. I'd like to state that I'm not representing any industry entity. I am a registered and approved MMCC patient, which means I have safe access to cannabis in Maryland. I am a service-connected disabled veteran, and I use cannabis to offset various symptoms that come along with that. I find that the CBD really helps target the symptoms from PTSD, major depressive disorder, and it helps me just kind of regain my calm. I enjoy ACDC. I am a smoker, and ACDC is great. It is very high in CBD and almost next to nothing in THC. What that does for me is just give me a clear slate. Just makes me feel, all right. No high, really, but I'm not, it's hard to say the word high anymore because it does different things for everybody. But what we're finding is that the one thing it's doing across the board is providing an increase in quality of life. And that's why I like cannabis and CBD. It is important to use THC with the CBD to create what's called the entourage effect. It was explained to me by a good friend of mine, the old buddy, old pal Bill, that CBD rides and THC drives. So when you're in the car, you've got THC and CBD working together. CBD is kind of navigating, telling the THC where to go, and then the THC is like, just kind of takes off. And then it's like a little bit too much. So the CBD is like, whoa, 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 come back here, come back here. Let's get back to the speed limit. So if you ever have too much THC for any reason, use some CBD. The CBD tinctures, the drops that you put under your tongue, that's a great way to medicate. People are finding that to be very effective as a source to get the CBD into their system. I usually recommend a 10-to-1 tincture, which is 10 parts CBD and 1 part THC. When it comes to THC and CBD in regard to dosing, they're called Colorado doses. 10 milligrams of THC is 1 Colorado dose. 1 milligram of CBD is 1 Colorado dose. You can have as much CBD as you can intake. You can't have too much CBD, which is great. You can't have too much THC or any other cannabinoid for that fact, but the more you intake of certain cannabinoids, the more potential you have for psychotropic, psychedelic effects that you might not be looking for. If you're looking for medicinal relief in regard to anxiety, stress, depression, cancer, looking for tumor reduction, looking for symptom relief with HIV, AIDS, gastrointestinal issues, post-reconstructive surgery, or any kind of surgery for that matter. There are balms, THC and CBD balms, that are great for spot application. For example, if you're having elbow pain, rub it right on the elbow. There are compounds that are transdermally ingested. So those are, same thing, balm. And if you're having spot pain, then you rub it on that. And then you always rub it on your wrist where the skin is really thin and venous, because the compounds can either be spot application by themselves or spot application with transdermal properties. So when it's transdermal and you rub it on the thin part of the skin, it's going to go full bloodstream, which is going to give you a better chance for relief and fighting symptoms. I've had a great opportunity to learn about cannabis. I work as a dispensary technician at Nature's Care and Wellness. I'm also a patient consultant, so I have 3,000 patients that come into the store, and I've gotten an opportunity to work with most of them. And what we do is come up with plans in regard to how we can help figure this out, come together, get on a medical regimen, and then find relief. And it's working. People keep coming back. I've been working with people for over a year now, and it works. So it's really great to see people coming back, people getting relief, people's scans coming back clear. People are kicking opiates. I mean, from going from 280 milligrams a day down to nothing. Cannabis. It's not just about the THC and CBD either. There are many cannabinoids. There are over 200 identified cannabinoids. There are also terpenes, which is the flavor and scent. There's terpenes in everything. There's terpenes in oranges, tomatoes. It's all over the place. It's plant-based wellness. And bringing these things together in an effort to find wellness is possible. So it's great. There are CBD vapes, CBD heavy vapes that are cannabis. For example, some strains that are really good are Pennywise, Harley Sue, Tsunami, Harley Quinn, AC/DC, Shark Shock, Blue Dream. Blue Dream is my favorite. I've been using Blue Dream as my meds when I smoke. They're the prettiest CBD buds I've ever seen, and I mention that because I get relief when I open the bag, I smell it, I take the nug out, I break it open, and just looking at it just makes me go, I love that. That's one thing about cannabis that you're not going to get from any kind of prescription medication. You're never going to open up a bottle of pills and be like, no, it's not like that. There are capsules that you can ingest to get CBD and THC into your system. There's also RSO, which is Rick Simpson oil. Another good strain with CBD is Araya Sunshine, and I've seen that in RSO tubes with 1,000 milligrams total cannabinoids, 600 milligrams CBD, and 200 milligrams THC, which is an amazing ratio because that's not going to get you too high, but it is going to get you some serious medicinal relief, especially during the day. The best way to consume that is called frontlining. It's a term that I coined. Basically, you dry out the inside of your gum with a paper towel, have your meds ready, pull the paper towel out so it's dry, line the gums with the oil, it's viscous, and then just let it sit there. Before you know it, it's full bloodstream. It's called sublingual ingestion, and it's really helping people. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching my video. If there's anything I can do to help, please let Ruth know, and I'd be happy to follow up. Again, my name is Tommy. Cannabis saves lives, and that's what it's all about. Have a great day.
Thank you, Ruth, for that informative presentation. I would also like to thank LabRoots for making today's educational webcast possible. As a final reminder, our speaker will follow up with any questions you've submitted via email. That's all for now. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.